Hello and welcome to an amazing podcast. Dang, I flipped that. I am the paladin of the Nine Knights D.
I am Modi.
Dang it.
I'm a general artist, Matt.
And we are reviewing or giving our first impressions of Zenshu, and from my understanding, an all original Mappa anime about a lead animator starting on her first ever film, choking on clams, and being isekai to one of her favorite anime films. And
Oh, that's why the animation was an ass. Okay, sorry, continue.
sorry. Okay, so where do I get started with this? So we've all watched like different magnitudes of the show, and maybe that will also give you a good idea of like our subconscious opinions of it. I watched the first 3 episodes of this, and I will say I really enjoyed it, but it frustrated me and it hurt my brain because this show is really fun and I really appreciate the writing, but god dang it, the isekai genre has just effed me up. And to preface this, I haven't watched that many isekai. I watched the really big ones, but still, this show has all of the basics of a proper like other world story, like the main character, like us seeing the main character's daily life, us figuring out what their personality flaw is or what their inner struggle is, them being sent to a magical world filled with awe and whimsy, and them using their experience in the other world to overcome said like personality flaw. Why is this so hard? Why is this the first like isekai I've seen in a long time that actually has like proper build up like that? And like it frustrates me too.
I can tell you why.
Why?
Well, I'll let you finish though.
I will say the other thing I really like about it is like the main character's actually trying to get home. Like she enjoys the food, but that's like not enough for her to like just give up on everything. I also like so one of my favorite things about this is the idea of like her being an animator and her power is wherever she draws or animates becomes real life in this world, and with the drawback of however long it would take to animate that in like real life, that's how long she gets knocked out. Every episode she's been knocked out for about 3 days, so she's been in this other world at this point in the story for about 9 days, but she's only been conscious for about, I'll say, 36 hours, which I find really hilarious because I feel like she hasn't been exposed enough to really get like driven crazy by the idea of being in a medieval fantasy world.
Yeah, true.
Also, I really
I don't.
I was gonna say I really really love the writing, the dialogue. One of my favorite moments was like the moment when she realizes she's been isekai'd and she's like, "But I have a life. I thought this was only supposed to happen to like burnout losers. What the heck?"
Okay, so I think so. Earlier you said like, why is this so good? And I legitimately have an answer, and it's because it's an anime original.
Yes.
It's not an adaptation. That's literally the reason.
Yes.
I can tell you exactly the conversation that went down in order for this show to happen. Okay, the like, you know, the animators at Mappa were like, oh my god, this is where I'm getting so tired of adapting stuff. Can we like make something original? They're like, okay, we'll try to figure it out. We'll talk to the execs and see what we can do. And then they go to the execs and they're like, hey, we really want to make something original. Could you guys fund it? And they're like, only if it's isekai. I guarantee you, I'm 99% positive that's what happened. They're like, only if it's isekai. And they're like, fine, but we're going to make it good. Are you okay with that? And they're like, fine, you can make it good.
Don't make
and then
it
that's
too
what happened.
good.
So they're yeah, exactly. Literally, so basically, my whole point is that the only reason this is actually like not slop is because
an actual writer wrote
like
this.
this is yeah, this is written by an actual writer with an actual team who actually wants to work on it, and their only setback or condition was that it had to be isekai. So they're like, okay, so we want to make a good anime, but it has to be isekai. What can we do with that? And this is the result.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, good job to them. So I did not expect to like this show just from the premise. Like the premise before the isekai stuff, I love, and then when I see the isekai stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hate this. But I actually think it's quite good. Still, probably not enough for me to like keep going with it, but I definitely think it's good, and yeah, I think it's very well done.
Okay.
And if I had to watch it, I wouldn't mind because I think it's just genuinely very good.
Okay, I'm gonna also add a little bit more to your credence to your theory, because when you read through the description of it, they bury the isekai lead so hard in the My Anime List description. Oh my god, it's hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like if it's like the description was like 10 lines, the first 9 are all about like her being an animator, and the last line is like, oh, and she gets isekai.
That's literally, yeah. I think I first read the description on My Anime List, and I think that's what happened. Like my mental process, I was like, "Oh, this is hype, this is hype, this is hype." Until I saw the last sentence, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not gonna watch this." But yeah, they, like I said, I think they, in the end, they did a good job, and I was surprised too because I didn't expect them to jump into the isekai bit that early on. I thought it would be like minimum 1 episode, but I was expecting like 2, maybe 3 or something. But like right from the start, like not even 5 minutes in, boom, she's already in the isekai world. So
Again,
yeah, that's interesting.
I really appreciate that they at least gave one line talking shit about the isekai genre. That makes me feel so much better. And the fact that they actually do
Yeah.
like have interesting world building, cool character designs that aren't the same like basement default coon. I really like
Yeah.
Natsuko's design. Like it's very simple, but I'm a big fan of like ignore that. I'm a big fan of classic like monster movies and stuff. So having like, oh yeah, our main character's animator Sadako, that's so fun to me.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
I will say this is a more interesting because, like, I feel like with most isekai, you have and I feel like this is kind of where a lot of the differences with how this is made is that a lot of the times, like the main protagonist is a conduit for their like immature teenager like audience who wants to do like a power fantasy and like perv on women.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of kids that age want to do, and that's like basically it.
Yes.
Here it feels much more like we're in an isekai because we're following like this like
Character.
imposed like overworked like self overworked like animator who's obsessed with her craft, essentially teleport to one of her favorite anime, which in this case, like I'm reading a lot more fairy tale from these like characters. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
I
think you're probably saying that because of Unio and Lucky,
yeah,
maybe.
I get more classic
And the
like
fact that
80s
there's, like,
anime.
okay. Well, either way, like if it feels like this is a lot more for, and I feel like this is why you're connecting with this so much, D, and like I even connect to it to an extent of like, and Modi should too, I guess. No, that sounds rude. I mean, you should, I don't know if you are connecting it with this. What I'm saying, is that like, unlike an isekai where it's just like here's this lazy ass world where we get to do our power fantasy bit. We instead like relate to this character's attitude in the way that she would like interact with the world. Like everyone wants to be like if someone's really into My Hero wants to be like thrown into the My Hero universe or whatever and be one of the guys there, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that like when she gets, I mean, obviously it's not her very first reaction, but like when she like settles down a bit and gets used to the fact that she is in the isekai world,
Yeah.
she just starts geeking out about all like just every aspect of it, and
Mm.
like the character designs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I could like
Especially
if
in
that was
anime
me, that would
food. Like,
yeah, that would 100% be me. Like if I got plopped into like a world that I like really like, oh my god, I would just be so hyped, you know. It wouldn't even matter if like, you know, the villains were gonna come and destroy everything or whatnot. I would just be like, oh, this is so cool.
And that's the thing too, because like this show is so genuine, and the thing that I kind of miss in a lot, like I don't really see that much in a lot of isekai, is it's just like, oh yeah, power fantasy, go. There's no like reverence, there's no wonder, there's no like, oh my, look at this really beautiful world. Oh man, look at this stuff, look at this stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, anime boobies, let's go.
yeah. Yeah.
I also really
Yeah.
I also really like her whole magic system and her whole magical girl summoning my desk like transformation sequence.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I also
That's so funny to me.
I also love how it isn't like a magical desk either. It's just a freaking desk.
He just summons a desk in the middle of the desert.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I thought that was funny too. The like the fact that they turned like they did an animator version of a magical girl transformation. Um, yeah, I like this is why I like even though I don't necessarily like watch all of them or whatever, I tend to have a lot more respect for shows that for anime that are like studio originals rather than
Mhm.
adaptations, just because like on every level there's bound to just be like more creativity, more like of meta understanding of the medium, and like you know like who else would think to do an animator version of a magical girl transformation, you know, aside from like animators who grew up with that stuff, you know. So like yeah, I like shows like this.
The other thing to also give credit for is, unlike with a lot of like single creator shows, like or like manga, kind of like Jujutsu, My Hero, etc., etc., you usually have the writer creator serving as the, like I said, writer, character designer, layout artist, all that kind of stuff. But with a show like this, or like with most anime originals, you usually have just one person focusing on the character designs. You have one person focusing on the script. Like you have a whole group of people who are just putting all of their focus into like one section of the show, as instead of one person being spread between multiple different like avenues.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Also, another one of my favorite moments
Um,
from this was it was a scene where it's the second episode where she tries to like summon the exact same like kaiju from before, and then her like
oh yeah.
measuring rod says like no repeat footage, and then all of a sudden it does the same exact, it reuses the stock footage of the same exact transformation. I love that so much. That was hilarious.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that. That's funny. Yeah, and I also think you mentioned it earlier, but I like her powers. I like her power system. Like, well, actually, I just like the fact that there's some element of balance to it.
Yes.
Is pretty much what it is.
Yes.
Like, because essentially, really, she has god powers,
Mhm.
right? But it's balanced, I guess, a little bit by the fact that she can't draw the same thing twice,
Mm.
and the fact that she gets like knocked out for however long it would take for her to actually animate that. So I like that aspect of it because you know it just
I
shows that they put care and thought into it. And also, I don't okay. I want to like as I talk about this, I want to make comparisons to like regular bad isekai or whatever.
Red
but, like,
Ranger.
I'm realize yeah, I'm realizing I can't because I just don't watch isekai, so I can't even say anything like comparing it. I just know I just know that I hate I
How
hate the
much can
genre
you
in
even
general.
classify this as an isekai? Like, would Wizard of Oz count as an isekai?
Okay, I'm gonna
Technically,
say
yes.
yes, but it's kind of like
Okay.
me calling this an isekai, it's like me calling Avatar: The Last Airbender a shonen anime, where
Right.
technically it isn't, but also technically it is. Like, it's an isekai in a literal sense, where it's about a character going into a different world and exploring all of the surroundings and stuff. In the sense of, in regards to like tropes or genre like conventions, no, I would definitely say this isn't one.
I gotta also ask, like, I've only seen it up to episode 1, but is there hints that like all of this is leading towards her learning a lesson in the real world?
That's what I'm thinking it is, because like they established really early on that like she's a loner, she's a workaholic, she doesn't work well with other people, she tries to do everything on her own. And I'm hoping that the whole like arc of, or the ending of this is her learning how to lean on other people, learning how to relate to other people, and then
Not
coming back.
overwork herself, maybe.
What? Why would you think she would learn anything about that? Her overworking herself is literally saving the world.
Especially for like a Japanese animator, I feel like that'd be like a good lesson. Especially when working at fucking Mappa.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a good lesson to espouse, and I feel like that's something I really hope that this show does. I don't know if like other isekai does that.
No.
Like this loser is a freaking pervert and a loser, and he's burnt out, and then he gets hit by a truck, and then turns into a magical wizard, where he learns like I don't know, respect and like recycling or whatever. Like I part of me kind of doubts that like ever happens, or like they even ever mention like his life before.
No.
But like that's something I would want from this show that to me would like elevate it above like an isekai is that like having her learn a lesson from all this instead of just like running off into the sunset, you know?
I definitely think she's going to learn a lesson, but I guarantee you it's not going to be work-life balance. I would love.
Yeah.
I'm picturing
that would make it a really good show to me. That would elevate the show.
Oh, completely.
Is like if at the end of the day she learned a healthy work-life balance. And
Completely.
Appreciate things.
Completely. I would love it.
Like most normal stories that aren't fucking isekai would do. Like most stories would have like, oh, the character gets transported, or like imagines up this like whole world or whatever, and goes on this grand adventure and comes back to their like old life to appreciate things or something, or learn to not be a jerk, or learn to like appreciate their life, you know?
Okay, here's the thing. I definitely think that would easily elevate it. That would elevate it times 1,000. If I was writing this, I would literally have her come back and figure out a way to unionize animators. But I guarantee you, in the first draft of this, there's probably like, yeah, and then she learns how to not overwork herself and have a proper work-life balance. And then there's some like Mappa exec like with a completely disgusted look.
We'll shoot you. We'll just shoot you right there. We have 20 other animators who don't have jobs who will easily replace you.
Yeah. Get that work-life balance shit out of here. This is Mappa. Take that to that Studio Whip place. But yeah,
Oh, wait, you want to work at
that
Invincible?
aside, I feel
where,
like this is done already enough to like elevate it like 1,000% above all the other isekai, and that's a glowing
of course
recommendation for this show and a brutal indictment of all the other isekai I've seen.
Yeah, so yeah,
also she gets to live out the fantasy of like beating up the annoying mascot.
Character arc of like her realizing she shouldn't overwork herself is because literally in episode 2, when the next void attack happens, Luke literally drags her out of her room, like out into the open desert to fight the voids like by herself. Like she's literally like kicking and screaming like I don't want to go, and he drags her out to fight them. So it's like if this show is trying to like have a like not overworking message, then
okay.
It's really not.
me writing the show very wokely. Me writing the show very wokely. I would have it so that at the end of the day, you make Luke Braveheart. Is that his name? I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. be kind of like the toxic influence. To also represent kind of like the way that anime protagonists are. Like, I gotta keep pushing myself to protect my friends till I'm dead, like a pulp, right? But everything like turns out okay with them with like no consequences. Like have him be kind of that dark reflection of what she could be, and like maybe not full on like antagonist, but you could do that. But have that be kind of like the central conflict. And then have the other like big evil wizard. I don't know what's happening in this world, but big evil wizard as like the secondary thing.
That would honestly be really fun because you could have like the whole comedy of like a normal person being forced to stay with like a hyper enthused anime character all day.
Yeah, well, and then I think that would be entertaining to have that guy kind of be the asshole, or that guy kind of be like the semi-villain of just I'm blanking on all anime characters' names right now, but you know, like having that anime protagonist like archetype instead of being like celebrated for like actively pushing yourself to the brink. Oh, to be fair, in those shows they're like defending the world or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But regardless, you know, I feel like some people base their own personalities on those characters, and like it does like harm to themselves. And I feel like you especially have that in the arts, where it's just like people.
Are you trying to say something,
just
sir?
Like Naruto. Art can be whatever you want it to be interpreted.
I feel like I'm being called out right now.
I am
nothing.
When I see you,
so I am nothing. I am nothing like Natsuko, okay? I'm a 3D animator, alright? I would be dead if I tried
to... Natsuko. I'm better than Luffy. I'm better than Goku.
I'm gonna be king of the animators, okay?
Anyways, that's my ideal show, but that's not this show. Or maybe, I don't know, I haven't seen it, the rest of it. But that's not fair for me to judge it on. I think it's... To talk about like a positive that I really like, not that what I said was a negative necessarily, but I like how the designs in this too, like like just the way the character designs or the way the world looks, looks different from all the other shitty isekai that we've seen, or like the couple that we've seen, or like the screenshots I've seen of other isekai. Like it looks like it's got its own visual identity. Like clearly it's trying to, like you said, draw on like other anime, you know, but it's got its own like visual identity that I could easily place on the show. And it's got like character designs that aren't just like standard fantasy pack type of stuff, you know, like there's some interesting stuff going on with them.
I also appreciate that it does have, like, it pulls a lot from like JRPG and everything, like the JRPG genre of games, but they don't have stat screens. There's no leveling. There's no like UI anywhere.
Right.
I
have a fun question for you guys. If you could jump in any anime and save a character in that anime, what would you do?
Save a character in that anime.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's too many.
Fair enough.
There's too many.
Maybe
a lot of characters I'd want to save.
If I'm being like douchey, maybe Jujutsu Kaisen, because I feel like
what?
Who are you saying?
Yes. I feel like with a certain level of like forethought, you could have stopped the entire Shibuya arc, and I feel like that would be really fun as a flex. But if I was to like be teleported into
Mechamaru?
Yes.
Okay.
Literally, I would literally go up to Mechamaru and just say like, hey, since you're getting your body back and you got the two biggest villains, just leak your...
By the way,
can
you give me a mech? By the way, can you make me a big mech robot, please?
You might die, like... a backup plan in case you die that doesn't go off as soon as the main villain's plans go off. Like, you could just leave an email saying like, oh, by the way, I might have died. Geto and like Mahito are going to do X, Y, and Z, if you want to stop Mahito, here are a bunch of like magic bullets. Just saying.
Don't come to Shibuya tomorrow. Oh, you know what? I know what Modi would choose. Modi would choose
What?
to save Fallen so that Dungeon Meshi never happens.
You're actually not wrong. You're actually not wrong.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like as soon as Modi would be there, he wouldn't even be interacting with the main cast. He would just be trying to figure out a way to get out. He wouldn't even like indulge in that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Okay, I'm gonna counter that question. Which anime cast would you like to be a part of? So, like, would you want to join the Straw Hats? Would you want to be a part of like the Jujutsu Kaisen High School? Would you like to be a part of like Deku's class from My Hero Academia?
Honest, I mean, I don't know if this counts as anime. This is a age old discussion, but Avatar is probably what I would pick.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Basic.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would probably go Avatar, but honestly, the Straw Hats also sound like fun. It seems like whoever, if like, is with Luffy gets like mega improvements to themselves. At least from what I could tell on the outside, because I've not seen One Piece. But
Do we have to be subject to the plot line of the story, or do we just?
can you just like be on this
'Cause that's
too?
Yeah.
You'll have
okay.
forward knowledge of the plot, so if you don't want to go along with it, you can change it. But if you want to, like,
Okay. Yeah, then I'd definitely pick Avatar because I feel like that's like the lowest stakes. Like they never really get that badly hurt or anything, so I'll just go with Avatar.
That's a good point. I'd probably do Avatar as well.
Okay.
If that didn't matter, I would have chosen Naruto. But like Naruto is literally child soldier. So if it goes by the plot, then I'm good on
Most
that.
anime universes are not great.
Yeah.
Okay. It would either be the Boruto universe where it's like Naruto, but you have all of like the modern day like comforts and amenities, and it's not like straight up child soldiers. But it would either be that or Fairy Tail, just because it's such a chill world, and I feel like it would be fun just to have like. I would want to pick a magic system that I could have fun with.
Yeah, Fairy Tail World would actually be fun, I think.
What about like an anime that's just like a slice of life?
No, I'm living one. You all got isekai in that, dude.
No, they're living life, but like happy.
I would say they're not exactly happy, but I would say Gintama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But okay, so I wanna say some other things about the show.
Okay.
So one thing that I really liked was because I felt like I could relate to it was when she said like I don't know if this was in episode 1, so you might not have seen it, but she was like really overwhelmed and she was like hiding in an alley or something, and she said, I knew I should have watched more series with isekai. I was like, yeah, that's so relatable. because I was thinking that as a viewer. Like, as a viewer, I was like, you know what? Like, I would probably understand, like, you know, I would have my bearings a little better if, like, I actually watched, like, some isekai, you know? I thought that was funny. That was, like, kind of, you know, fourth wall type of thing.
Although, okay, one more thing, and this is going back to the whole I have a lifeline. The other reason I really liked that joke, too, was I was thinking to myself, like, sweetheart, yeah, you did have a life and a career, but to be fair, you were an overworked animator. Like, I don't think you had a life. I think you just had a career.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the only difference between a NEET and an animator is that an animator
Gets paid.
NEETs in an office and gets paid below minimum wage. You know, it's like, yeah. I thought that was I thought about that too when she said that. Also, do we know the robot's name, by the way? I'm just gonna call him Robot because I don't remember his name.
I think it's called, like, G1 or something.
I I
Okay.
had it up. Let me. Uh,
Well,
it,
okay.
uh,
Uh-huh.
QJ or something.
Mm.
Okay, whatever it
Yeah.
is. He's like ridiculously useless. I just don't understand. Like, all he does is give you like 3 seconds of advance notice before the voids come, and he tells you your probability of winning, which is usually like below 5%, and that's it. And he can't fight. He can't like he literally does nothing. Like, what's the difference between him and like having a sentinel? Like he's not doing anything. He's not doing anything useful.
You've not
How
been
did he
watching enough
become one of
Star
the
Wars,
nine
my
soldiers?
friend, or other stuff where you just have a character who's just vibing. You know,
Yeah, okay, at
like what is
least
C-3PO doing except vibing?
yeah, but he's not. But C-3PO, the difference is C-3PO isn't pretending to be useful.
That's true.
Okay,
You know.
to be fair, in the third episode, he does buy time for the party. So he doesn't like get a kill or anything, but he does fight for a little bit. So
Does he do it in a way that any like layperson or bystander in the city couldn't have done it? Does he do anything that any normal person couldn't have done?
debatable.
Okay. Okay. So all right, yeah. So he's useless. Um, Luke is also low key useless. I don't know. I haven't seen episode 3, but at least from the first 2 episodes, like
Hey, he gets
I mean,
drunk in episode 3, okay? And he takes a hit.
oh, maybe if he does like maybe he has like a kung fu. I forgot what it's called. Drunken fist or whatever. Anyway, yeah. I don't know if he's supposed to be the leader of the group. It seems like it's framed like he's the leader. If it is, it's even worse. Like how bad he is. Like the fact that he like is faced with like a huge, massive horde that pretty much covers up the entire horizon line, and his strategy for fighting them is like 1v1ing each of them. It's like, bro, like, do you have no AOE at all? Like, you call yourself one of the 9 soldiers. Like, everyone except for the robot was way more useful than you. When the voids attacked, I don't know how you're the leader. Even your 1v1s with them are like iffy. So like you're not even one-shotting them all the time. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal with him is.
You know my favorite thing, and this is a following up on what you said. When you look at how her like recollection of the show or of the movie is in the real world, it is like her being there has completely changed up the genre. Because think about it, because like when you were saying how like all of them were like really useless and all that kind of stuff, that's true because like all of those original fights up to that point, they should have lost. Like the first fight, like the only
Yeah.
reason they got through that is because the unicorn like blew himself up. And like the second fight, like they weren't supposed to win. They were supposed to like fly in and like poison all the crops. So I kind of like
Yeah.
how like yeah, that's consistent.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Also, I do
I
like the
well,
fact
I'm
that
this.
Natsuko's literally like fixing the like air quotes, like she's literally turning this into like a happy-go-lucky shonen show instead of like a dark fantasy. Berserk needed
That's so
her.
true. I honestly like. I'm a little bit curious to know like what the entire plot is for the
Mm.
original story because I just want to know how much she's changing it. Like how. I want to also get like the full scope of what kind of character these. Oh, this reminds me. Okay,
Mm.
where are the other? There's supposed to be 9 soldiers, right? Where are
Mm.
the other 5?
To
Because
be
so far we
decided.
have Luke, we have
Those
Melon.
come later in the manga.
Oh, okay. All right.
I see what you did there.
So like, so we're supposed to be assuming that like in the movie, like throughout the movie, the other 5 um, knights or soldiers, I guess, get recruited.
Yeah.
So I guess since she ends up, I guess this is spoilers for you, Matt.
It's fine.
She gets inducted into the 9. So that means she's probably taking someone's spot, right?
Someone's
According to
spot,
the
yeah.
actual plot of the story.
That'd
I
be
wonder if that's gonna be
hilarious.
like a source of drama later.
I would love that. Okay, I know this isn't like a long running thing, but if it was, it would be amazing if, like, say 5 volumes along like the story, you just see like this really drunken burnout character, and it's just like, yeah, that could have been me. I could have done that. That Natsuko animator chick, she isn't all that. Like he's just chilling at the bar. His life has just been a complete burnout.
It's also like the most powerful character.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought of.
That'd be funny. Like, there's a spinoff where like that one person she replaced gets isekai to the real world.
Yeah, and also I just remembered something going back to what we were talking about earlier with character arcs. Have you seen Have you seen anything in episode 3 that like, because okay, you were talking about how her character arc is probably like her learning to work together with people and whatnot, and not do everything by herself. But I didn't really see any like, yeah, in the beginning of episode 1 we got that one scene where she tries to do like the whole thing by herself, right? But after that, like when she gets isekai'd into that world, and in like all the scenes after that for the first 2 episodes, I don't really see any like hint of that. Like I don't see that character trait really being shown.
Okay,
huh?
Were we
honestly,
just speculating on that? Sorry, go on.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure. It is speculation, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I would think that in the first like 3 episodes, that's like a quarter of the show at this point. So I would think that would be established. So that's why I'm asking him.
Okay, oddly enough, I think so on the subject of the whole character arc, I feel like it's being sort of air quotes subtly implemented, because there's a lot of moments where she needs other people to like guard her while she's drawing and buying her time. In the second episode, you do have like stuff of people shielding the crops from like the poison, people shooting the adding air support for the other flying voids. And then the third episode, you also have like the robot coming in to like buy her more time. But to go to what Matt was saying, she has a whole like moment where she's like, oh man, this is what it feels like to relax. No more crunch. Good food. What the heck is this? So.
Oh, okay. Huh? Maybe they will go with that direction. That would be interesting. Also, there's something else. Do you guys know about like Stormlight? Have you heard of like the Way of Kings or like the Stormlight Archive? It's like a book series. Oh,
there we go.
All right.
You answered your own question.
Well, yeah. Okay, well, it's a very popular. I'm sure even if anyone's watching this, they'll know what I'm talking about. But it's a very popular fantasy book series. And the lore of this world, the Soul Future world that she gets isekai'd into, actually reminds me a lot of that story. I'm not going to go deep into it since you guys won't get what I'm saying anyway, but I guess I'll just say it's
read a book.
Like the 9 soldiers are kind of similar to the Knights Radiant, and then the Voids are kind of similar to I forgot what they're called, but there's something similar in the Stormlight books. But anyway, we can move on past that.
Yeah.
I have some other stuff, but like, do you guys have anything you want to say?
I think I'm good for right now. I will say the animation is absolutely beautiful. Her pulling out her animator powers has been consistently hype as heck. So, all in all,
yeah,
good work, Mappa, you overworked sons of bees. Every animator is a son of a bee.
I also, you guys, I think Matt talked about it, but I think the background art, especially for the city, was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Not even compared to isekai, just in general compared to most anime. I thought it was really good.
Oh yeah.
I did think the opening was kind of boring though. The opening theme, but yeah.
I will say too.
One.
This really this gives me so much. This really raises my respect for 2D traditional animators, because if she was a 3D animator, they would have been screwed. Like if you're going completely from scratch, then it would just be like a random cube flying through the air. It would just be like you would just have that giant kaiju thing just T-posing through all of the other enemies. Yeah, that would have been rough. She would have been out for a full week instead of 3 days.
Imagine a show though where it's like as a CG anime show, where you're like, I unsubdivide you 3 times, and they turn into like a like a low poly mess. Erase all animations. And they're just stuck in a T pose.
They pull a Mortal Kombat fatality and just rip the skeleton out of them, and they're just stuck in the A pose.
they're like, oh yeah, my ultimate power, create patch of grass, and they like a patch of grass appears, and like, oh, what does that do? And they keep doing it as the entire world starts to slow down and and they're like, you fool, you'll be caught with us. It's like, I'm a 3D animator, I'm used to waiting.
Say goodbye to your frame rate.
Try fighting me when I have no textures.
Oh no, I can't see them. They hidden their mesh. They're on another layer.
Damn it.
We need to do that.
And I have 2 more things to say.
Yep.
Before I'm ready to give my rating. One is I don't know. Do you guys think there's like a mystery aspect to this?
Definitely.
Because I kind of felt like I was picking up on that. Okay, yeah, because in episode 2, Natsuko, she goes to like the tavern, and the bartender at the tavern is like pretty much the isekai world version of that executive producer or whatever, the president who was delivering her the food in episode 1, if you remember, Matt. So pretty much she makes a note of like, oh wait, like she's pretty much the same person. Like in this world, she got turned into the bartender. So that makes me wonder, one, are there other people from the real world that got like turned into other characters?
Sort of like a Wizard of Oz type of situation where it's like, oh, all of her like brothers or uncles were like the Scarecrow and Tin Man type of thing.
Oh, okay. I've never seen or read Wizard of Oz, so I didn't know that.
I think the other thing,
so
the other thing they mentioned that may or may not be a red herring that I kind of like is that the producer also worked on the movie, so it might have been the kind of thing where it was like a Stan Lee kind of like cameo Easter egg kind of thing, which I also think is really fun.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask next, which is, or could it be that? And I think maybe that you're right, that could have been it too, because they do that. Animators will like animate real people like in the studio into the backgrounds a lot, so I could see that just being like an Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah. But I do agree that there's definitely a mystery aspect of it, because one thing that I really like that they pointed out is the world is adapting to her changes she's been making. So it's interesting to see like how much is an actual canon event, or like what changes is she making to the full-on show or to the full-on movie. And I'm curious to see how long she can actually she can keep like predicting the future.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. And the other thing that I was wondering is, because of that whole predicting the future thing, like it seemed like she had some sort of like, I mean, obviously she knows what's going to happen in the story, and like she kind of gets like these flashbacks of like Luke like crying over a dead body and whatnot, and like when they ask her like what her goal is in this world, she's like, I have something, like, at least until I can get out of here, I have something I want to protect. You remember that? And then they were like, oh, what is it you want to protect? And then it seemed like she's going to give a real answer, but then she says, oh, I just want to be able to eat a bunch of delicious food.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know if that was actually just a gag, or do you think there actually is something she wants to protect? And do you have any theories on what it could be?
I think okay, so we established that she saw this at a really young age. So I'm guessing it's the kind of thing where I don't know if you ever had that moment where you spend a lot of your childhood watching cutesy, happy, fun, like lighthearted stuff, but then all of a sudden you see that one show that has like, what, people die? Oh my god, it doesn't have a happy ending? I'm guessing this was that
Yeah.
show, and she's trying to like rewrite it so all these characters do end up surviving.
Okay, maybe.
Mm.
And I guess so far she's at least succeeded with one of them, the unicorn one. So
Yep.
one down, eight to go, I guess, or
Mhm.
something like that.
I have to go early. Is it okay if I get my rating now?
Yep, go for
Yeah,
it.
I mean we can go ahead and do our ratings now and
Okay.
just wrap it up.
Yep.
For me, I think it's 6.5 out of 10, just because I've only seen the first episode. It's like a really good, especially if we're comparing this to Isekai. I might continue to watch it even after, even if we don't review it, because it is like interesting and I'm curious to see. But yeah, having only watched one episode, it's definitely like the animation quality and all the characters are great. And I hope they take it in an interesting direction.
Yep.
But yeah, it's my review.
So for me, I'm willing to give this a, if I'm being super critical, 8.5 out of 10. I like the writing, I like the characters, I like the animation, but I do wish there was a little bit more to really push it up. But for right now, I think the first 3 episodes were amazing, and I can't wait to watch more.
Okay, and I would also give it exactly same thing, 8.5 out of 10. I thought it's really good. I like the characters too. I think it's well written. The only thing really that like I genuinely think it's good, and the only reason really that I'm not going to continue is just because I'm just not really I can't ever really get excited about this type of setting, this type of genre. So yeah, but I think it's genuinely good, and yeah, that's it.
All right. Tune in next time, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.